All righty, Steiny and Guru joined by Alan Stiles and Mark Willard. It's the crossover. Gentlemen, what's going on?
What's up with you?
Look at
you.
back.
Hey. You look high and tight and tan.
Yeah, look at it.
Damn.
I guess I'm the only guy who's returned from Ireland with a tan.
Yeah,
That's
Good,
true.
relatively good weather.
About to get more in Vegas. You about to get some more rays.
I stay in the room in Vegas.
No, you're coming out.
I stay in the room
Oh, man.
in Vegas. Hey, let me just start out with how this sounds. If you're a 49er fan, and the hope versus the expectations. I hate the Super Bowl or bust thing because it just paints you into such a corner that if you don't get it done, it might not be fair. You look at the Niners. The Eagles are the number one team in the NFC. The Eagles beat them last year. Isn't the goal to get by the Eagles? And ideally, that's in the NFC Championship game. And that's what you want to do.
I think there's
Now, you can. I want to win a Super Bowl too. Don't get it wrong. Mm-hmm. But that would be a good.
You were clear. I was listening to you.
What do you think about
the
that?
responses are like you were very clear with what you're saying. I first of all, I'm completely with you that Super Bowl or bust in the NFL. Like the comparisons you've been making with the Durant Warriors, the NBA is different. The NBA is different. You enter every season where you're like, okay, there's like 4 teams maybe that can do this. So I don't think the NFL's ever like that. I wouldn't say Super Bowl or bust if I were a Chiefs fan. I don't look at it that way. I don't think you can do that. The word expectation is overwhelming and quite frankly unfair without having any idea what's about to unfold with injuries, poor play, good play from other teams, all of that. What I look for from a team, what I try to, if you want to say, use the word expect, and this is why I've been such a big fan of this regime, I ask my team to be consistently good. Be consistently competitive toward the end. And to whittle that down to you're not good if you don't win the last game it's just dismissive. It's dismissive of so many little quirks that lead to winning at the end. Like Jalen Hurts last year went to his team and said, put the blame all on me. This whole season was ruined because I dropped the ball on one play?
I was at your house.
That's ridiculous. He was amazing. They were amazing. The Chiefs scored a touchdown in the end. They got a holding penalty, and they won. You're going to call the year a bust? But your Eagles thing's interesting. I don't know that it's going to be the Eagles and Niners at the end. I know that's what we all think. I want the Niners to be what they're supposed to be. Look like what they're supposed to look like. Then that'll get them pretty close to the end. If that happens, we'll see if it means the last one.
But
that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, the Jalen Hurts comparison, I wouldn't say that was the word would be bust because I don't know that the Eagles – I think the Eagles came out of nowhere a little bit. I think they were supposed to be good, but I don't know if the Eagles saw that. So it's not
I agree with that.
It's more it's not a failure.
It's a bust if you pick up the story at like halftime of the Super Bowl.
I would take that.
Right?
I would take that. So
but I feel you.
So I want to ask a question going off of what Steiny was saying, because how do we view coaches, right? So Steiny, going back to Philly, you have Andy Reid, who was there for 14 years, didn't get the big one, but you had so many good memories. You had McNabb, you had Vic, you had so many opportunities. You couldn't get it done, but you had that. But then you have Doug Peterson, who short-lived, but he did win the big one. So in Philadelphia, what coach, I guess, eats free for longer? Is it Andy Reid or is it Doug Peterson?
That's a great question.
Because it's the same with Kyle Shanahan. If somebody else comes in next and does get it done, and if you are in the Willard, Steiny camp of, hey, competitive every year, didn't win the big one, or a flash in the pan, but you did, what do you look at?
Maybe I'm wrong, but I think they both eat for free in Philly.
They definitely both eat for free.
That was my first answer, but it's an interesting question. Like,
but is Andy Reid a little more likable than Kyle Shanahan?
That shouldn't matter. If it's my restaurant, it's the dude that brought us the hardware. So that's not even a question. We're all different personalities in this room, and I get it, Steiny. If you want to do that, and it's cool to have a good year, I'm not against that. But my question to all of this about Kyle now, especially with this blunder, which we can all admit it was, is when. This team is, I just told Steiny, outside of the quarterback position, it looks like you could throw that in here pretty soon. They're loaded. The question is, when is Kyle going to win his? And I think that's fair. And if the Niners get to the NFC Championship, Willard, Steiny, and Allen, I'm not going to come in here and they lose and say, oh, it was a bad year. But the beat goes on of, when's this guy going to get the monkey off his back?
That's a familiar story in every sport.
Yeah, it's not a bad, but that's not
Peyton
bad.
Manning went through this. No,
Right.
it's
Jordan went through it.
It's not bad, but what I keep trying to ask all of the Kyle Shanahan screamers is, okay, so what is it you're suggesting? He doesn't win it this year, and he doesn't win it next year. But man, they're winning divisions and they're deep in the playoffs.
Gotcha.
Okay, so then what? You want him out?
Well, this
You want him? You want him to? Is it tar and feather? Is it a public apology? Is it to get rid of a nickname that so many of you are obsessed with that he didn't give himself? I don't know how many calls did you guys have to? We're sick of the genius label. He didn't give himself that.
Yeah.
He's just coaching.
We got to figure out who started that.
He's just coaching, and he's doing a damn good job. Yeah. And he really screwed this one up.
We can all agree.
He really screwed this one up.
But I gave him credit for still doing what he did with Brock Purdy.
That's my thing. I was listening to so much of your show today, and I just every caller, I'm like, boy, I wouldn't want to be in a family with you.
Right?
Right? You come
They're
home
emotional.
and you make dinner 7 nights in a row for the hungry mouths to eat it, and then on the 7th night you burn it, and you come in and go, hey, a crappy cook,
right.
and Willard, you stand up and be accountable for burning. Like, yo.
But the emotion and the passion comes pre-Shanahan. These are Niner fans. They were Niner fans with Seifert. They're waiting for number 5.
Talk about pre-Shanahan.
The fans.
Talk about pre-Shanahan.
The Niner fans.
Which ones? The ones who are 20 years old or who are 55?
Yeah, the ones that saw that era, that lived through that era.
That's very few of them now.
That era was 30 years ago.
Right.
Let's talk about pre-Shanahan because it's the number one point to be made here. They were a dumpster fire. A fire.
Well, Harbaugh, they went to the Super Bowl.
You're forgetting what happened in between.
Okay. No, that was bad.
What happened in between.
I got you. That was bad.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I
just think
sometimes you simplify this. Are they doing a good job or not?
Okay.
But
But
as a fan, I'm not saying to be mad. I think fans are stuck because you want to win the big one.
Of course.
I don't think they're saying. I mean, some fans are saying fire Shanahan. That's their opinion, but they are stuck in this middle ground of we're really good, but we really want to win the big one, and that's the goal. So that is where the conundrum
like
is.
Peterson would
they don't know what to do.
Over Andy Reid, as great as it was, he never had that parade for Eagle fans.
Here's what I think is this is what drives me nuts.
Here you go, Dougie.
So you can say, okay, Kyle Shanahan's he's been here 6 years, right? First 2 years, he was cleaning up a mess.
Yes. Totally.
Okay, we clean up a mess. Yeah. Okay, so he's been here 4 years. He's been to 1 Super Bowl and 3 NFC championships. And we're going to start talking about he can't win the big one yet?
Yeah.
It's been 4 years. It's, okay, now you want to play 6? Okay, you can play that game. And so now I'm always interested in how many coaches won a Super Bowl within 4 years when they started being a head coach in the NFL.
It's probably very, very few.
Right.
And Niner fans start
We'll find some.
Niner fans start grabbing stuff that they don't even know anything about. They're hanging stuff around Kyle's neck for Atlanta and Washington. Nobody's ever in the history of ever started blaming coordinators when things go wonky in a football game. Like, it's a label that like those of you who think the genius label should go away, the choker one needs to go with it.
Okay. Yeah. Alan, did you guys hear the show? And I'll make this quick. Did you guys listen to the part of the show where I raised my man's blood pressure? Because I can say he blundered or botched the pick. But what Kyle did with Brock Purdy, mystery relevant, who before the season, I don't believe there's a walking soul that said if he got on him third string, they'll still get to the NFC Championship game. I go to Sam Darnold, if he were to get on that field, and we've talked about it, with what they have available and his genius, Kyle's, in play calling, I think Steiny said, he's like looking at Darnold for what he's been, and he's been a joke, but now he's in the penthouse. I believe Darnold, with the toolage of Kyle, can bring the best of Darnold, and the Niners will still keep on moving down the road, especially after he just did it with mystery relevant.
No, but I love it.
Is that fair?
No, I love it, though. because, and I can't wait to get into this with you, Willard, because it's just a gift that keeps on giving. The Niners cannot get away from a quarterback controversy. I saw Dan Orlovsky today on SportsCenter talking about, and if Brock Purdy goes down, what if Sam Darnold elevates it so Trey can leave? It doesn't matter. It's like the when we're going to talk about Ohtani and the Angels and how they can't figure it out. Really sad news. They can't figure it out. And the Niners, as good as they are, not that they can't figure it out because they've been super successful, but there will be a quarterback controversy no matter what. No matter what.
The Sam Darnold equals season over to you on this team. Right. That's all I was.
Of course it does.
But I hope we never see it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I hope we never see it. You know what I mean? I hope we never see it. And then the other thing I think about when people getting hot and bothered about Sam Darnold is, first of all, like you just called him a joke. I don't think he's been a joke. He's a joke compared to what he was asked to do in his previous teams. The Jets looked at Sam Darnold as the number 3 overall pick. The 49ers look at him as their QB2. I would like you to give me the QB2.
Until you're QB1.
Give me the QB2 in the NFL you like better than Sam Darnold. Go ahead.
Cooper Rush.
Do you really?
He really likes Cooper Rush.
Well, my answer is I don't know.
Yeah, and I heard you guys earlier even trying to name QB2s. You could only come up with a few of them, and a few of them you did.
Yeah,
a few of them you did aren't even the QB2s. They're on the wrong team. They're QB3s. I'm like, this is awesome. The 49ers are arguing about QB2. We don't even know who anybody else's QB2 is.
But I guess, Steiny, I can criticize a guy and also give him kudos that if Darnold were to get on that field, it'll be the best version of Darnold we've ever seen. Because of Kyle.
We don't know that. Though. The inception of the argument was whether or not Darnold could. Listen, can Darnold win a couple games for you? Could you? Okay, Purdy goes down in the NFC Championship. Darnold rallies and they win it. Sam Darnold can he quarterback 11 games and lead the Niners to the Super Bowl?
Probably not.
That's all I'm saying.
Probably not, but my biggest hope for Brock Purdy's health is not just for the obvious reasons that you root for your quarterback to stay healthy. This fan base
for Kyle,
we need psychiatry. Okay. We need therapy.
What did you say? Everybody needs it.
We go into every year assuming there's going to be 22 quarterback injuries. We've got to have a few seasons here where that doesn't happen.
Right.
So we could we are just assuming.
Well, you know what? That's a great point.
Yeah, like it doesn't usually happen to every team where QB4, and what is that?
But that's a great point. And that's why, to me, if the San Francisco 49ers, they have a good year, they leapfrog, and maybe they get to the Super Bowl, lose. To me, the only way that happens really is at the end of the year, we're saying Brock Purdy is pretty good.
Pretty good.
He's pretty good. And if we say that at the end of the year, we're already ahead of the game from any other time in the Shanahan era. And now we go into I know a year from now seems like an eternity, but maybe the next year's when we go, okay, now we got Purdy. How do we get over the Chiefs? Sometimes it takes a year or two. All right, you listen to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ, FNHD1, San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube, powered by the First NorCal Credit Union. We're off to Vegas. You guys have a great time, and we'll talk to you soon.